Good morning, everybody. Do illegals have more rights than U.S. citizens, or do illegals from Ukraine, Israel, and Venezuela have more rights than everybody else in the world? And the answer to that is yes. Where in anything in the world can you go from one country to another and not show some type of proof of identification without some kind of vetting process to say whether or not you can come in? I don't know any but the United States, and for three countries specifically: Venezuela, Ukraine, and Israel. Seems to be some type of pattern here. There are some other people getting in on the coattail of the Venezuelans coming in, but not like you'd think. When we travel as Americans, we go from state to state. We have to have a passport now. And if we don't want to have a passport, we have to have the real ID stamp on our ID stating that we've already been identified as a U.S. citizen and we've turned all our paperwork and stuff in. So it got so bad to a point where we have to travel state to state, we have to have a passport. Now we don't have to do that anymore. No, I mean, it's not now that we don't have to do that anymore. We do have to do that. Before we didn't have to. Now we do. On my ID, I got a yellow star in the corner of it stating that I've been real ID identified. And if you don't want to go through that process of being real ID identified, then you have to take your passport with you if you want to travel to any state in the United States. At least that's here in Illinois. Pretty sure it's everywhere now. Anyhow, anywhere we go, we have to show identification. We can't fly into a country with nothing. We can't apply for assistance with nothing. We have to have some type of identification. They do not. They get worked into the system. They give them driver's licenses. They help them with getting work permits and stuff like that. And everything just gets handed to them. Everything. They get monthly assistance for their children and stuff like that. And they ain't never paid a single damn tax-paying dime into the United States. But yet they still get all these freedoms, these assistances that we don't even get. They have whole advocating teams. They have special memorandums that when they get in trouble, if it's under a certain amount of theft or if it's under a certain amount of seriousness, they get let go. We don't get that. Whenever we do something wrong, we got to do our time. We got to go in front of a judge. Not these people. They don't have to do none of that. There was a Tren de Aragua, whatever it is, gang member here in Illinois, and he got arrested like 3 different times, and they let him go while giving fictitious names 2 of the times that he was arrested. There's another guy here that they found more than like $70,000 worth of narcotics in his possession, like $1,800 cash and a handgun. They let him go. There's guys that have beat the shit out of people in the streets and stuff here, throwing rocks through people's windows, fighting outside of the homeless shelter. They just let them go. But that wouldn't be us. We don't get those same rights. If you're a citizen, you are x-rayed or frisked at the airport. New arrival, flown in, or bust in without ID, compliments of the U.S. government. If you're a citizen, you're required to have a driver's license and insurance. New arrival, here's your driver's license. Now you can go get all other IDs for your kids to go to school, to vote, to travel, etc. If you're a U.S. citizen, you're working full-time plus overtime or gig and paying taxes. New arrival, just get a cash under the table job. We already supplied an ID. No worries. No worries for taxes or health insurance. We got you covered, man. How true is that, man? Exactly how I feel. I was feeling some kind of way yesterday thinking about all this stuff. This gentleman left this comment, and I said, man, how appropriate is that? What a crazy time to be living in. What a crazy day to be living in, having to deal with all this stuff while these people walk right into your home and just take whatever they want and don't have to answer for it, don't have to pay a single dime for it. All they got to do is show up and take. It seems like that's exactly what they're good at, showing up and taking, because they do it in their home in their home country, and then they turn around and they do it here in our country, and we just continue to allow it to happen. The government is giving tax breaks to businesses that hire the newcomers. They fire citizen workers and hire newcomers. We are being replaced. Let's talk about this. We are being replaced, and they are giving tax breaks to these people that will sign up for their government illegal placement program. Look what happened with Tyson Foods. They fired 1,400 Americans and shut down that plant, and now they plan on hiring 5,300 illegals with housing assistance, monthly daycare, or monthly child allowance stuff for care, for like daycare and stuff like that, health insurance, $16.75 an hour, because everything else is being provided for them, so they don't need any more than $16.75 an hour. Tyson said they get the full boat across the board, housing assistance, they get all that. So this is what's happening right now. And a lot of these big companies, especially Tyson, that's why I say boycott Tyson. We don't buy anything Tyson anymore. When we found out this was going on, walk away from these companies that are doing stuff like this, and do not support them, and check their affiliate companies that they do business with, and boycott them as well if you can. Try to get as much local as possible. You know, it's a little ridiculous what's going on right now. We are being replaced. Whether you guys agree with it or not, we are being replaced. They're hoping by November they can get enough illegals in here, and if enough Americans are displaced from their jobs, illegals will take up that quota. Enough tax breaks will be given out to big corporations and companies for hiring these guys, and then they get cheap labor, and we're stuck living off the government's coattail. It's a sad, sad, sad world we live in. That's just the cold, honest to God, hard truth, whether you like it or not. And it's going on right now. Right now. November can't come fast enough. The Constitution of the United States is for we the people. For we the people. Those rights, the Second Amendment, the First Amendment, it is not for people that are not from the United States of America. So for those of you out there that are touting that the Constitution is the Constitution that applies for anybody here in the United States, no. That's not how it works. You're given those rights as an American. You're given those rights because you're in the United States of America. This is the Constitution for the United States of America, not for Venezuela or Guatemala or Ukraine or Israel. It's for the United States of America. So United States citizens, Americans that are here in the United States, are entitled to those rights because they've worked for those rights. They've put blood, sweat, and tears in for those rights. Those of you out there that are just saying they get passed off to anybody that comes into this country are incorrect and are buffoons for thinking so. United States citizens, Americans, are the ones that deserve those rights, and nobody else. Just because you're in the United States doesn't mean you get immunity. Just because you're in the United States doesn't mean that you get those rights. You have to pay for what you do wrong, and those rights are not entitled to you until you put in the time to do it and become an actual United States citizen. That's all. Nothing more, nothing less. If people don't like it, move on. Don't talk shit in my comment section. If you don't believe it, that's fine. Then you're not part of my camp. Let's just leave it at that. Take care. Be blessed.